Taking a live look now on the Senate floor in Washington, D.C., where it is, of course, 9:30 on this Monday night. This is where lawmakers are working to prevent a government shutdown. The nation sits just a day out from that deadline if Congress cannot pass a spending bill before midnight Wednesday. Republicans want to renew all current funding without add-ons, but the bill needs 60 votes to overcome a Senate filibuster. Democrats are using their leverage, asking for guarantees on health care benefits. The White House has signaled it will not budge on that front. We are hearing tonight from lawmakers on both sides of the aisle. Joining me now in studio is Sherman Oaks Democratic Congressman Brad Sherman. Good to have you. Thanks for making the trek in. And via Zoom, we have Rockland Republican Congressman Kevin Kiley. Thank you so much for the both of you agreeing to have a conversation from both sides of the aisle. Congressman Kiley, I'm going to start with Mr. Sherman here because you are here in person tonight. What do we know about the meeting between President Trump and the Big Four? He met with, of course, House Speaker Mike Johnson, House Democratic Leader Hakeem Jeffries, House Majority Leader John Thune, and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer. What came out of it? Are we far apart?
We're far apart. It wasn't an ugly meeting, but it certainly didn't accomplish anything. And we're going to have to prepare for a shutdown. That means federal employees, if they're essential, they have to keep working, but they don't get paid currently. And if they're unessential, they go home, and they'll get paid eventually. And if you're a federal contractor, you may not get paid at all. Okay,
so we're far apart. Let's get reaction from Congressman Kiley. Do you echo that sentiment?
Well, it would appear so, and it's unfortunate because a government shutdown is a terrible thing. It's something that we should not let happen. It's the job of Congress to fund the government, so we should not be having the government go unfunded. So it's forced to shut down vital operations. As Brad said, folks are not able to get paychecks or are being furloughed. You have military members of our military who don't get paychecks. You have national parks that get shut down. So this is something that we need to avoid. And honestly, right now, I think that what we're seeing is why so many people in this country are frustrated with politics is the two sides seem to be fighting over who gets more blame for a shutdown rather than actually trying to work together to avoid a shutdown. So I'm encouraging both sides to try to find the common ground we need to get this done over the next couple days so that we don't have to deal with these totally self-inflicted dire consequences.
Yeah, I don't think the finger pointing helps much in all of this. The Democrats, though, Congressman Kiley, they want to extend health care benefits, specifically on Medicaid coverage. President Trump says that's not going to happen. Do you side with him?
Well, I think there needs to be a negotiation. I mean, the reason that we're here is that we haven't passed a timely budget. And, you know, unfortunately, we haven't done that for quite some time in Washington. And so, you know, the speaker is asking essentially for an extension. And so, you know, folks on the other side are saying, all right, if we're going to provide an extension, then we want you to work with us on X, Y, and Z, which I think, you know, in itself is not an unreasonable position now. But some of the things they've come out with are clearly not going to be the basis for any deal. And so at that point, it almost looks like, you know, it's being used as an excuse to shut down the government and create a confrontation. So that's why I say, you know, there's just not the kind of dialogue that we want around a realistic set of possible negotiation items that could keep this you know, very bad thing from happening to the country.
How do you see it? What's the sticking point?
First of all, this isn't just a September problem. This isn't just a problem of government shutting down. We've been operating on automatic pilot for the whole fiscal year. The last time Congress established its priorities was March of 2024, and it is those decisions that are governing government decisions today, tomorrow, and the Republicans would say at least through the end of November. Democrats have come with their bargaining position, and that is a position to provide health care to 20 million people who would see their premiums doubled under Obamacare if we don't change. It's not Republicans haven't met us halfway. They haven't offered a single dollar toward helping people's health care. So yes, Democrats have a bargaining position. It'd be good if Republicans would make some sort of offer. But what would be better is if Congress passed these appropriations bills months before they're needed, instead of regarding it as some sort of accomplishment to just keep the government automatic pilot, but at least it hasn't crashed. We need to. The Republicans have been in control for many years now. We are supposed to pass 12 appropriations bills. The Republicans are in control of the House of Representatives. There is no filibuster. They've only passed 3 of the 12, and those 3 died in the Republican Senate.
You need at least 8 Democrats to vote on this.
You need 7 Democrats in the Senate, but the House could have at least passed appropriations bills, and hasn't. And it's our job to pass all 12 of them. And what happens in the Senate happens in the Senate. We've passed only 3 of the 12, and we passed those 3 were in a form that the Senate wouldn't approve.
Reaction from you, Congressman Kiley.
I mean, I actually agree with almost everything that Brad said. I mean, it's absolutely correct that the failure to pass timely appropriations bills has gotten us into this habit of just running on autopilot, doing these continuing resolutions where we're not considering budget priorities afresh as we should. And I think that is a very bad way to govern. And so I think that this idea that we're going to keep passing continuing resolutions, it's a cycle that we need to get out of. And I think that on the other hand, a government shutdown is even worse than that, which is why I supported this latest short-term continuing resolution. Now, that's why I say, though, that if Brad and some of his colleagues' position is that in order to provide this one last extension, as they're saying, we want to negotiate around a certain set of items, then I think that's fine. There can be a negotiation around how to stop healthcare and premiums from increasing. That's something that's important to me and a lot of folks on our side of the aisle as well. There can be a negotiation around the issue of rescissions. There can be a negotiation, I've suggested it, about maybe ending this whole redistricting mess. So I agree with his point that it's bad that we're trying to run the government on these consecutive continuing resolutions. And I also agree with his point that there should be some sort of negotiation. I actually think the House should be in session right now, which unfortunately it's not, even though we did pass a CR to keep the government open. If we can't reach a deal that causes that to be passed by the Senate and signed into law, then the government's going to shut down. And we need to be doing everything we possibly can to prevent that from happening.
I'm quite pleased with this agreement right now. If only we could multiply the both of you and get this deal done. How likely is it, do you think, that there will be a government shutdown?
I think there'll be at least a short-term government shutdown. I'm hoping that the Republicans will respond with a counteroffer that deals with the issue of health care. They're not going to do everything we want, but they're going to have to offer us something. And
specifically, what would give?
Well, you got 20 million people are going to see their premiums double. We'd prefer them not to go up at all. If they come back and say, okay, there'll be some of the people will face somewhat higher premiums, we'll talk about it. We'd like to negotiate behind closed doors because the pressure is on everybody who's negotiating publicly to stand up for their complete position. Look, Democrats got about 49% of the votes. We ought to have some input into how the country is run.
Congressman Kiley, final thought with you.
Yeah, I think that unfortunately we're now about 24 hours away, and it never should have come to this. But I'm hoping that we can come together very quickly and reach whatever agreement we need to, at least to provide some runway to reach the larger agreement that's coming up around these spending bills that are going to come due in another 7 weeks, even if the current continuing resolution goes through. But I hope that the common ground that your congressman there in Los Angeles and I share on a lot of these issues, I think is probably shared by a lot of folks on both sides of the aisle. So hopefully that can be channeled by our leadership into an agreement that's in the best interest of the American people.
Well, we appreciate the perspective from the both of you tonight. We don't do this often where we put the Republican and the Democrat on the same interview set, so we do appreciate you joining from Washington, D.C. tonight, Congressman Kiley and Congressman Brad Sherman here in studio. Thanks so much. We'll obviously wait to see what happens. I mean, the clock is ticking. Midnight, 12:01 on Wednesday, October the 1st. We'll see where this lands. Thank you both.
Thank you.